Today we're talking about vintage, and take a look at all these brass stampings. They're not vintage yet, but I'm here with Mark Nelson, and Mark, you're going to show us how to do this.
Oh yeah, they're going to be vintage here in just a couple of minutes.
How do we do it?
You want to use a process called patination, working with patinas to kind of bring out the old look.
Yeah.
And we talked about patinas before, and I just want to kind of go more deeper into that and see how they work.
Beyond liver of sulfur.
Yeah, there's a lot more options than liver of sulfur for sure.
Let's see what you have.
Okay. As on the board, we have a couple different samples of different patinas. This one right here was done actually with two different forms of liver of sulfur. Okay.
So you have the raw one there, and then...
This is the raw one, and then we have one done with the chunk, the old-fashioned liver of sulfur, and then we have the gel.
Okay, so before we go farther with these, we need to clean these up, right? Before you add any patina.
Right. Before you add any patina, you definitely have to make sure the metal surface is clean, or else they won't take it all.
Okay.
The two best ways to do that are with a powdered detergent or a powder that's made to actually clean the surface of metal. And you want to scrub it, make sure it's very, very clean. All
right. So you use some kind of abrasive cleaner. Do you clean it with soap and water also?
You can. It's not as effective. You want that powder to give the surface a little bit of tooth to hold on to those chemicals and allow them to react with the metal. Okay,
and then there are other options for changing the color.
There are. And we started off with liver of sulfur. They're again showing that not all liver of sulfur is the same and acts differently. And then we have a different patina for copper and brass particularly. And you can see that they'll give different shades on different pieces of brass.
It's beautiful too. It really gives it an aged look. And you could probably buff some highlights if you wanted to.
Definitely, you could strike it with highlights. And that's kind of showing, you know what, all brass isn't the same. You know, one piece might take different patina than...
Right. If you did want to buff it, what would you recommend using?
I usually start with, if you do a matte finish, a Scotch-Brite cloth, or pretty much anything.
Okay.
So, and then over here we have a different recipe, light brown to black for brass and copper. And you can see there's a gradation there. And on the very end here we have a green patina. Now the thing about the green patina is, it's not one of those dunk and instant satisfaction things. It might take a couple days or even a week for it to get this nice green.
So when you're saying that you're using a green patina, that's a solution that's pre-mixed?
It's a pre-mixed solution. It usually has salt and ammonia in there. And it's the combination of those two things reacting with the surface. And you'd have to let that sit on the surface maybe a day, maybe 2 days. So if we
take a look at all of these samples here, these are different examples of the different types of solutions of patinas that you could add to the surface.
Right.
And this one looks like you dipped it part of the way.
Exactly.
Right.
And then there at the very end is a different type of solution. It's a combination of ammonium chloride and another element.
It looks really pretty when it's finished.
Very nice brown.
What are the safety precautions around these?
Definitely want to wear gloves, okay? Because some of these, and the liver of sulfur particularly, will stain your fingers. And the chemicals aren't horrible, but you don't want them on your hands. And safety glasses too, definitely a good thing.
Splashing, probably ventilation also, right?
Right.
All right.
And when you're done, what you want to do is you want to seal it, okay? Because all patinas want to go to a certain part, and if you left these like that, they might just keep on going. And
so you want to actually stop that process.
Right, and there you can use a lacquer or a wax.
So what are you showing us over here?
I'm going to show you what not to do.
Okay.
All right? I don't
Finally, an expert is showing us what not to do.
Now, this is an oxidizer. It's made for silver, okay? And this is a piece of brass. And if we dunk it in there, you get this beautiful black.
It is really pretty.
Right? So we go to rinse it, and you can see it'll just wipe right off.
Because it's made for silver and not brass.
It's made for silver. The chemicals in this do not oxidize brass.
So you want to be sure that the oxidation method you choose relates to the type of metal you're using.
Exactly.
All right, and there are lots of books and all kinds of educational resources around this.
There really is, and you should take a little time, read the books, and some of these recipes you can make at home.
Oh, great.
So.
Well, let's take a look at these earrings. We whipped these up right before our segment to show that this is these are oxidized.
Right.
And then we also combined them with art beads, just a quick little earring project there. And we'll have the instructions for the earrings and these patinas online. Thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you.
And finally, when we come back, Beth Craft will show us how to use a favorite art bead.